What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. I woke up this morning with an email in my inbox asking me about something called a Squeem, or a waist trainer. They said, Chris Jones, this is actually a guy asking about this too. A guy was asking, Chris Jones did a video on this waist trainer or whatever. What is your opinion on him? Now, first of all, the reason why the guy was asking, it's not just for women anymore. A lot of guys are wearing them now in physique competitions, physique competitors, trying to get their waist small. And some of these very large bodybuilders who have significantly reduced their waists over time, so they gain like 10, 15 pounds of muscle, but they slim their waist down. There's no way to do that, okay? You don't gain 10 pounds of muscle and drop your waist, especially when you're eating more food. They're using these Squeems, and it's a very well... Let me back up for a second. A Squeem is what it's called in the fitness industry. That's its nickname. It's actually a brand of waist trainer that has been on the market for quite a long time now. I guess they were used in Europe for a long time. And, you know, these bodybuilders, physique, women, bikini, figure, whatever, are wearing these Squeems. Now, what it does is it basically wraps around your waist like a belt, and it has some hooks on it, and it's pretty durable. These things are pretty hardcore. And the first time that I've come in contact or heard about a Squeem, I can't remember when it was, but the first time, okay, here's the first time I knew I figured out what a Squeem was, or I felt a Squeem, if that makes any sense. So we were at the Arnold one year, and there was a bikini competitor, my favorite at the time. I'm not going to say her name because, you know, like being outed wearing a Squeem now is like, it's negative. It's like people saying you use synthol in the bodybuilding world. So we were taking pictures and stuff, and I had my hand on her back, and I was like, what the fuck is that? It was like a back brace. And I didn't say anything because I knew that she also did jiu-jitsu tournaments. So I figured maybe she hurt her back. And, you know, it's like a back brace. That's what I thought. I had like, you could feel it. It was like hard. I was like, what the fuck? That's weird. And over a little bit of time, I kept hearing about these things from Europe. Squeem, that's what they call it, the Squeem. I was like, I don't know, you know, I don't know. So I had actually asked a former Miss Bikini Olympia about it, and she denied it. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea what it is. Well, lo and behold, I go on to train someone who is from her team, and it's a very big team in the bikini pros. And that's one of their secrets. It's a well-guarded secret. You actually sign off on a paper to not divulge the information about, you know, certain things that you do while you're part of this team. And then wearing a Squeem is one of them. So it was like a well-guarded secret until this competitor came to me and kind of said, here's all the information I have from the other team that I was on, and here's the situation. So I was like, fuck. I'm like, these girls are lying. It's true. They wear these fucking waist trainers, these trimmers. Now, fast forward a few years, and now they're all the rage, and people are seeing them on, you know, Instagram and all this stuff, and guys are wearing them for bodybuilding and physique and stuff now. And, you know, Chris Jones said flat out that he thinks they work. And that's what this guy was asking me if I thought they work too. Now, obviously they work. They do work. I've seen them work. I've seen, you know, people wear two of them at a time, put one over one to try to even get a better effect. And something that I want to go into, it's based on, is this healthy or is it not healthy, whether or not you should use one of these things. If you're using this thing to lose an inch or two off your waist, okay, and your waist is going from this to this, you're not compressing all your fucking organs into your bottom half and your lungs. That's not what's happening. When these people take it too far and they go from here to here with their waist, that's when everything gets pushed up. So to lose an inch or two here in your waist here and there, that dramatically makes a huge difference in your physique. I don't think there's any issues at all whatsoever. However, if you're trying to lose 5 to 10 inches on your waist and you're using one of these things, which is less of a waist trim and more of a corset at that point, like these girls with the 18-inch waist and 19-inch waist that are literally like this big, those are not Squeems, those are not waist trainers, those are corsets where they actually have to tie the things in the back, lace it, and pull it so that they're actually, you know, having more tension. The Squeem itself is actually rubber and it flexes, so technically you could push your stomach out if you wanted to. So it's holding everything in, but it's not squeezing everything into the point where it's shoving your organs up and down. That's not how the Squeem works. Now, how does the Squeem work? It took me a little while to figure it out. This is not a lot of information on it. It's just that it works. So I had to go back and start studying and find out how the fuck does this thing work. Now, the transverse abdominis, which is a belt underneath your rectus abdominis, is what gets loose and gives the protruding abdomen. Most of the times, this is not a muscle that's very strong, and a lot of people do stuff like planks and different things like that to try to strengthen it up, and to a point that works. Now, if you did a plank for, you know, 5 minutes workout 3 times a week, and that worked well, what do you think would happen if you wore one of these waist trainers that kept that transversus tight for like 8 hours a day? The muscle is going to get even stronger. It's even tighter. Now, some people will say, well, how is it getting stronger? What happens is it does actually compress the transversus together, which actually shortens the muscle. So if you had, basically went like this and kind of tied your arm down and left it there for 3 weeks, when you took that tie off and tried to extend your arm, that muscle will have actually shortened and adapted. The transverse is actually shortening and tightening up, so you lose a little bit of flexibility, which tightens it up. And at the same time, it doesn't allow you to relax and let your stomach push out. So therefore, you're not having that resistance from the inside out. It also does engage the upper gluteus medius. So a lot of these girls you see with this shelf butt, I'm not talking about the girls with the crazy glutes that look like they injected something in there. I'm talking about the ones that there's one bikini team out there who's probably the most popular bikini team. And these girls all look like they came off an assembly line. They all have the same structures. They all look the same waist, same bubble butt at the top. The Squeem actually activates the gluteus medius, which is that little ball on both sides of your ass. Once that develops, you now have that shelf kind of bubble butt. It's from keeping the erectors and the transversus and the abdominals all tight. Keeps everything tight. It keeps your posture up. It activates the gluteus medius. So if you're wearing this thing throughout the day, technically you're getting a glute workout and an abdominal workout and a transversus workout all within, it depends on how you wear it, how long you wear it, but the bottom line is it works. And I kind of thought back and I was like, how the fuck, could this be possible? Is this how this is working? And I remembered back to one of my ex-girlfriend's cousins who had 3 kids. This girl had like the flattest stomach you ever fucking seen. And I remember we were at a cookout or whatever, and they were asking her, like, how do you, and she didn't even work out, didn't even go to the gym, like, how do you keep your stomach so flat? Like, you have 3 kids. Like, and she said, after the first kid, she was sick of it, like, kind of her stomach hanging out and kind of bulging. So she would consciously remember to pull her to suck her gut in, to pull her navel to her spine. So not flex the rectus abdominis, it was the transversus that she was working. And she would hold it there, and then subconsciously basically just hold it there all day. And every time she noticed she would let it go, she'd go ahead and flex it again so that it was flexed. And by contracting these muscles over and over again, it tightened up her waist within a couple months' time. And she wasn't even using a Squeem. So that transversus was being tightened up. It's the same exact principle as the Squeem. As the Squeem pulls you in, it doesn't allow you to push your stomach out. It keeps that contracted the whole time. The muscles shorten and tighten. Next thing you know, you have a smaller waist, which could be 1 or 2 inches smaller. But the bottom line is, unless you're trying to take off 10 inches off your waist, these things are perfectly safe. I've seen many women use them, and now we're starting to see the physique guys use them too. And these guys are kind of proud of it. They'll put it on Instagram if they're wearing it. They pull their shirt up and show the Squeems and shit. I mean, it's not a hidden thing anymore. Some of the girls, you can actually wear them over their workout stuff now. Like, they'll have a tank top with a Squeem over it now. And I had a friend who was from Europe, and years ago, she would tell me, she got great abdominals, a great waist, and she would tell me, Squeem. And I'm like, what the fuck is, I don't know what that word means. You know what I mean? She has a broken accent, didn't speak English very good, so I thought she was saying some kind of fucking European word. She was saying the word Squeem, and when I came back and I asked her years later, I said, hey, have you heard of the Squeem? She goes, I told you about that. It's the Squeem. And then it dawned on me, I'm like, that's the thing that you guys are using in Europe to trim your waist. So there's thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of women and people that have used these things. And I've yet to see one, maybe there was one fucking case that Layton Norton liked to push like fucking crazy about someone who fucked themselves up with a Squeem, which I gotta believe that there's either something that was going on there to begin with, or they took that shit too far, wearing like fucking 2 Squeems. And I even see girls wear 2 Squeems and then a weightlifting belt, a powerlifting belt over it, and tighten it like that so that they have even more tightness to try to reduce their waist size without having to actually wear a corset. So there's more than just somebody wearing a waist trimmer. But if you're looking to lose a couple inches on your waist, these things will work. But from what I understand, they're very uncomfortable. They won't allow you to eat much. So again, as you're eating, if you try to eat too much and overeat, your stomach can't protrude. It pushes your stomach back in, which pushes that food back up and gives you heartburn and indigestion. So there are different functionalities of this thing that people don't know. And because it's something that was such a well-guarded secret, now it's out. I mean, Adela Garcia, was she like an 8-time Miss Fitness Olympia? Posted a picture on Instagram or Twitter one day of hers that ripped, and she's like, oh, ripped my Squeem. So it's like even the best in the world are coming out talking about, the fact that they wear these things, so the secret is kind of out of the bag. And as long as it's used responsibly like anything else, I don't see this having any health complications whatsoever. BioStraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. It's a Squeem up bicep, and we're out.